have the Toronto police, and you have these specific officers who are involved. P.C. Vella. Now, if you're from Toronto, you're probably familiar with the face of this crooked cop. He's the one who's always on TV, sometimes talking about weather, accidents and things that are happening when we have bad weather, or accidents that, happen on the highways that he's reporting. He's one of those cops that really need to be exposed to the public as a rogue cop, a bad cop. Okay, he's from 11th Division. Along with him, I want to expose a Sergeant Kortas. These cops have no business representing the interests of the public or pretending to protect the public, because they do not. I have had experience where I've seen them acted in ways and said and done things that are so out of line for a police officer to say and do that I now need to expose these cops, as I have done with PC. You know what? I have such bad memories, really. Costello, or whatever his name was, who shot that 18-year-old boy. So these two cops and also P.C.Lund are involved with this landlord here. And they actually have now recognized who the person is who tried to break into my home, and they said and done a lot of things in front of the witnesses, who was my landlord, and in front of this intruder, that would indicate to me that they are on the side of these criminals who knows what their intent was when they tried to enter my home. I am believing that it was to harm me, because when you try to go into a home that you no longer live at, then you no longer have any legal rights there. So you trying to use a key to enter, now you have to go before the court to answer for your actions, because once you move out, your tenancy is ended, and you no longer have any legal rights there, and you shouldn't have a key. So I am questioning why this property owner gave a key to a former tenant to come back there in the middle of the night when I'm living there, and when I am exposing all of her actions in regards to city officials, Toronto city officials. I am questioning what the intent was. Obviously, it would seem to be that it was intended to harm me, and that they had expected me to open the door and let this person inside who I don't know, and then they would say later on, you know what, there was no forced entry, and you know what, she must have known the person, or she must have let them in. And so me being smart did not do that. I had extra security on my door, and that blocked the intruder from further getting inside. However, since that has happened, these 3 Toronto police officers who claimed that they were going to investigate did not do that. They actually had contact with the intruder. They actually had contact with the property owner, and they laughed it off, and they gave them the, go ahead, and like, you didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't a breaking and entry. It was nothing. And basically mocking me, mocking the law, mocking the, justice, the process of justice here. And once again, trying to throw in my face that you are nothing to us, and we do not care about your safety, and we're here to protect this very rich woman, okay, and we do not care about you. We do not care if these people were trying to harm you. And this is not mere speculation. Okay? First, they did not know how to identify the intruder. Once they now know that he is directly associated with the landlord, and she has acknowledged that, they should now have investigated it further as to what was their intent. They didn't do that. They just laughed it off as nothing. So they're involved with this property owner, implicated in regards to her actions. And one of them had the audacity to say to me, well, you seem to know the law a lot. Well, I had to learn it, okay, in order to protect my rights. I suggest that they try to videos that I just made in regards to the Toronto Police 11 Division, P.C. Vella, Sergeant Kortas, and P.C.Lund. I had mentioned earlier in one of the videos about the comments and also in regards to the actions of those police officers when they had claimed or pretended as if they were going to investigate the attempted break-in entry into my home, and instead made a mockery of the situation by basically laughing it off. Now, they were actually in my home at the time, and to show you how much of a danger the police is to me and to my safety, my health and well-being, I am going to mention here to the public a comment that came from either P.C. Vella or Sergeant Kortas. Now, I was standing in my kitchen area near my stove because I was actually cooking at the time, and there was no utensils such as a knife or anything, even though I was cooking, that was anywhere in sight. Yet, P.C. Vella, I believe it was P.C. Vella or Sergeant Kortas, made the comment. I had said, you know what, I felt threatened by what had happened in regards to the break-in entry, in regards to certain events that followed afterwards. I didn't feel safe in my home, whatever. They then commented that, you know what, as if they didn't understand what I was talking about. So one of them just commented that, we could feel threatened by you, by that knife behind you. I kid you not, by that knife behind you. I had no knife behind me. So I am mentioning this to the public to let them know a lot of times when the police harm somebody or shoot somebody, there have been numerous cases in the black community where the police has gone into people's home and made claims about them that they tried to attack the police, that they did this, blah, 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 and no such things. In some of those cases, they tried to establish that the person was mentally deranged or whatever, and so that's why they had to defend themselves by shooting them and kill them. I'm thinking about some cases that happened in Toronto involving the police and doing exactly that. So they mentioned that comment, and there was nothing there. Nothing, no knife, nothing. And it's not the first time that it's happened. I was living somewhere else when I called the police about an investigation, and they turned around and made the same comment. As a matter of fact, one of them had their hand on their hip where the gun is located. So the public can understand why I would not feel safe in the presence of the police. Because here I am, a woman, standing there before 3 Toronto police officers who are much bigger than I and who are armed and who are well trained, okay, and I have nothing in my hand. I have nothing. All I did was to lean against the counter of the kitchen, and you could still see my pot on the stove where I was cooking something. I had actually almost finished the process. There was no need for, and even if there was, I was cooking, but there was nothing there really because I was finishing up. So them making the comment as if I had posed a threat to them in some way, and then they didn't elaborate further. They didn't pursue it. They just threw that out at me. And I read into what they were saying, and I read into their actions and the meaning behind their words. Okay, which is that we could say that you tried to do this, or we could say that is why I don't want them in my home. That is why I didn't call them back last week when they said they showed up or they tried to investigate and no one was home. Because I also have to think about my safety. Over the years, they have never, ever, ever done anything to indicate that they would protect my safety. Rather the very opposite. So I want that a comment that was made by the Sergeant Kortas or Vella, the one that's always on television in Toronto. And people don't know that these police operate in this manner. Even when they see them in front of the public on TV, there's another side to them. Okay? And, it takes exposing them, their actions, for people to get to know them. I had written an article about Coachella. He's the police officer who had shot the boy on the Toronto streetcar. Okay, and people would say, well, you know what, you seem to have something about a cop. And it turned out that he does have an issue. He doesn't have an issue, and I was right on the money when I reported him, because I knew him before, and I had made complaints about him, because he, at one point had made a comment, we're not going to help you, because you know what, you said you were going to complain to our staff sergeant about us. Okay, he and his partner, and other things that, they shouldn't have done if they were going to do an investigation. So, me as somebody who always reported on the police, it's like I'm public enemy number one to them, and they are looking for every opportunity. I really truly believe that somehow they were involved in that attempted break-in, because they wanted to get me in a position where I was vulnerable, and of course they are always working with other people to try to set me up or try to harm me. In this case, it was trying to harm me. And if they cannot entrap you, because they've been doing that for years, and I somehow try to, sidestep what they're doing, try to avoid the type of entrapment. If there's somebody trying to create a confrontation, I like to have, some kind of evidence, like a tape recording or something, to protect my safety. So I try to avoid any kind of entrapment by the police. But I do not put it past them to take it to the other level of trying to work with those very same people to try to harm me. And I wanted to just mention to the public just now that the police had made that comment, indicating that somehow, if they wanted, they could say that, well, you know what, you try to harm us, or you pose a threat to us, so now we had to kill you, so we had to shoot you, or whatever, Thank God, that didn't happen, Seriously. God must be on my side, because the amount of times that these son of a bitches has endangered my safety and has threatened my life, directly and indirectly, wondering how the hell she's still alive today. But I'm here again, as I mentioned in my earlier video, another day to report on you. And God is my witness, I'm not lying about what I just reported about them, about the comments that they made, and about the situation that I just explained. Okay? And these cops, I'm glad I've had the opportunity to mention their name, P.C.Vella, Sergeant Kortas, and P.C.Lund. So now the public is aware that they need to beware of these officers. Because there may be another situation somewhere else where somebody is not known like I'm known in front of the public, where they will try to carry out those kind of actions against that private person, and the person will not be able to tell their story afterwards because they will be dead. Okay? So, I wanted to expose them, and I wanted to say to the public that we really, really need to get rid of all of these bad cops that are not there to protect us, that are in many, many cases are criminals in and of themselves. They're involved in organized crime, they're involved in corruption with other city officials and rich people. You know, I've known of so many cases involved with the police and corruption and the police and crimes and the police and this and the police and that. I don't even report half of that on my blog, but I'm aware of it, you know. So I wanted to expose them just now in regards to some of their actions. P.C.Vella, Sergeant Kortas, P.C.Lund, these are three rogue, bad cops from 11th Division in Toronto. This is Valerie reporting once again to the public about corruption in Canada.